but this time in the Bronx. Masahiro Tanaka goes for the Yankees against Max Scherzer. It's a fantastic Game 1 matchup. Yankee Stadium, the Nats haven't been here since 2009. First year this ballpark was open. We've got some support on the road. Nats fans are excited. They get to watch their team on the road in the Bronx. What's better than that for a two-game road series? Bob and FP, guys had a day off yesterday. Maybe that refreshes everything. Some news, though. DENARD Span taken out of the lineup a short time ago. His back's bugging him a little bit. So without DENARD, the Nats take on the Yankees after sweeping them at home. Yeah, Michael Taylor in center field. DENARD just got off the bench simply the other day. Went to grab his glove and play defense. Tweaked his back a little bit. He wanted to test it out in batting practice today. Didn't feel good, so he got scratched. Michael Taylor in there. Now Yunel Escobar DHing and leading off. Yeah, how many guys DH and lead off? Not too many over the years of the designated hitter. Let's go back a couple of weeks. Ryan Zimmerman, heroics Game 1 against the Yanks. May 19th, his 10th career walk-off tater. That was an 8-6 win. You remember Wilson Ramos extended his hitting streak to 19 games. Ian Desmond hit a home run in that game. And then chocolate sauce for everybody. And then on May 20th, the next night, a good game, 3-2. Jordan Zimmerman went 7 strong innings. Drew Storn with his 12th save on a questionable call to A-Rod to end it. And Ian Desmond hit a home run in that game as well. So they swept the Yankees. The park was electric, and it's electric here tonight. We're happy to be in the Bronx, and it's going to be a fun series. Last time the Nationals were here, they won 2 out of 3 against the Yankees. They didn't have Max Scherzer then, but he has pitched here for the Tigers, and with Scherzer on the road and Tanaka, this is a fantastic matchup. Yeah, the premier pitching duel in all of baseball tonight. Max Scherzer takes the mound in the Bronx, and this is a guy that cherishes going up against #1 guys in Tanaka tonight. Had a rough start his last time out, kind of hit the wall in the 6th inning after the 13 strikeout performance against the Cubs previously. And Tanaka, his last start against Seattle, his velocity, the highest it's been all year, 93 miles an hour. He touched 96. So that's his first start off the DL. He struck out a career-high 9. So a pitcher's duel here in New York for sure tonight. We're excited about it. Yeah, and Max has that ERA that is so far down there at 1.85. Tanaka, 2.76. He's been hurt a little bit this year. He's back tonight, and this should be a whole lot of fun. You're playing the Yankees. You're in Yankee Stadium. There are just some things in this game that you can't escape because of the tradition in that franchise. Yeah, but you can't be intimidated by that. As a former player that came into the old Yankee Stadium, there was an intimidation factor, the ghost. I don't think there's ghosts in this ballpark. But the key tonight for Scherzer and the Nats is to keep the ball in the ballpark. Yeah. The Yankees have homered 7 times in their last 3 games. So if Scherzer keeps the ball in the yard, they got a good chance to win. And only Toronto has hit more homers than the Yankees in the American League. So everything getting ready for this one tonight. Bryce Harper will be ready. He's going to play on the big stage, and he always seems to enjoy that. Nats Yankees, Game 1, straight ahead. By PNC Bank for the Achiever in You, by Land Rover Above and Beyond, and by visitannapolis.org. Find the Chesapeake experience at visitannapolis.org. Gate 6, the main gate right behind home plate, Yankee Stadium, just a little bit north of where the old stadium sat here in the South Bronx. What a night. It is beautiful. Skies are clear, some breezes blowing. And I can tell you right now, it's not toward home plate, and it's 78 degrees. Partly cloudy skies, but we don't see any of that right now. Let's check in right now with Dan Coco with our Coons.com sideline report.
Bob, although Bryce Harper has never played a game here at the new Yankee Stadium, he came here a handful of years ago to take part in a pre-draft workout. He's excited to be here in the Bronx and to play here. He grew up watching the Yankees and idolizing Mickey Mantle. He wore number 7, Mantle's number, when he was younger. And then when that number was taken, he switched over and wore number 34. You do some light math and you add those numbers up, you get number 7. I asked Bryce today what it was about Mantle that appealed to him, and he rattled off a number of reasons. That Mickey was a switch hitter, that he played hard, that he was an All-American boy. And earlier today, Bryce went out to the monuments beyond center field with a handful of his teammates. He got a picture in front of Mickey's plaque out there. He's excited to play a game here at the Bronx for the first time and is excited for the atmosphere that comes with playing at Yankee Stadium and going up against Tanaka, guys.
Well, and Bryce, I talked to him a couple of weeks ago. Some fans had emailed me saying, why doesn't he just wear number 7 again? Bryce said, I just really like 34. It's my number now, and I'm staying with it. And the Nets lineup got a bit of a change recently. Escobar was going to bat third tonight, Harper fourth, but DENARD Span couldn't answer the bell, so things got shifted. So you have the rare scenario of a DH batting first, and then Rendon, Harper, Zimmerman, Robinson, and the rest of the Nets. It did put Michael Taylor into the lineup against Masahiro Tanaka.
You see the Arsenal fastball averaged 93 miles an hour his last start against the Mariners. His first start off the disabled list. That's the highest velocity he's had all season long. Touched 95, 96. So slider, cutter, curveball split, which he threw 22% of the time his last start to go with it. Opponents hitting 165 against Tanaka this year. Just 78 pitches last time out against the Mariners. That's at the defense for the Yankees tonight. Flores, Gardner, Beltran the outfield. Gregorius, Headley left side. Drew Teixeira right side. And Brian McCann behind the plate.
There's the old Nets nemesis from Atlanta now playing with the Yankees. So Yunel Escobar will lead things off. Late arriving crowd, evidently. And behind the plate will be the crew chief, Gary Cederstrom. Eric Cooper, first base. Lance Barksdale and Quinn Wilcott, second and third. The Yankees do lead the American League in attendance, but they're under 40,000 a game at 39,894. They've only had 3 sellouts at the stadium this year. Here's Tanaka to Escobar. All the Nats seeing him in person for the first time. Up and in, we're underway at 7:09. Escobar, 367 his last 29 games. And a breaking ball, it is hooked foul. Hung that one a bit, and Escobar way out ahead.
Well, if you missed it right when we came on tonight, we told you that DENARD Span was initially leading off in center field tonight. He took batting practice. His back was still sore, late scratch. And he heard it on the bench the other day, jumping off the bench to grab his glove, kind of tweaked it and locked up, and couldn't get it hot today. So, Yunel Escobar leading off.
Escobar had a couple of hits, couple of walks against the Yankees at Nationals Park, and that's off to the right side. Yeah, Yunel, last several years, in fact, last 4 years before this, 5 years really with Toronto, after his days starting in the big leagues with the Braves.
I love the roll call here. It is so cool.
And a 1-2, target in. That's another breaking ball, sitting up a bit.
Fans chanting your name as they go around the defense, and you have to tip your cap or do whatever you want. Chase Headley just gave a fist pump to the Yankee fans as they were chanting Headley. And nothing beats when they were chanting Derek Jeter. Yankee roll call. Love it. Tradition.
1-2 pitch. That's a changeup, 87. Escobar comes in with a 383 on base percentage with his 325 batting average. And the batting average 7th in the league. Good eye. Counts full. And a fastball delivered in there. Hot shot right side. Stephen Drew, first out of the game. Nats 6-6 all time at Yankee Stadium. That, of course, includes the old ballpark. And 3 of the wins by just a run. Max Scherzer, 5-1 last 6 starts. Toronto got him because of those home runs by Pilar, but other than that, he's been almost flawless. And the Yankees are a first inning ball club. They're used to getting out to a big lead. That's a lot for the first inning of ball games this year. Plus 32. Joe Girardi's team playing their 59th game of the year, just like the Nats. How to play right side.
So Tanaka, during his last start, his fastball touched 96. During last season, his fastball registered in the mid-90s, but regularly this season it was 91, 92. There was concern he wasn't letting loose for fear of hurting his elbow. You remember the whole, is he going to get Tommy John surgery? Is he going to rest it? So his last start, I think the Yankees were excited that he sat at 92 and hit 95, 96 a few times. Now all of a sudden you get that discrepancy between the fastball and the split, which is his out pitch. And now as a hitter, I got to rush to get to 95, 96. And it really sets up the off speed late in the count. And he usually goes to it right here.
0-2. There it is. You might have noticed already we have more of a straight in look with our center field camera at Yankee Stadium. Not that much off to the side like most ballparks. 1-2 with 1 out. And Rendon. Slider that got out over the plate, and he skies it to Brett Gardner. Inside the numbers with STG. So first 25 starts in the big leagues and the most wins. I mean, you're talking about a list with Whitey Ford on it. And another Yankee, Mel Stottlemyre. Vic Rashi. Yankees list, very impressive.
Bryce Harper's first at bat in Yankee Stadium.
Steps in, hitting .326.
I'm watching Brian McCann give the signs, Carp. He's giving like sneaky signs where Tanaka's really having to look close. He's giving him so far back underneath that Tanaka can't really see him. Watch. Really tucking him in. I don't know if he's thinking someone's seeing him. But very rarely do you see a catcher give the sign so close like he is, and Tanaka's having trouble seeing him.
Harper over the top of that one. 1 ball, 1 strike. Close. 89, just missing 2-1.
That's the cutter at 89. If it's off the plate, Bryce ain't swinging.
And then the nasty split. So we've seen it at 87. That one 89. And he's trying for a 1-2-3 first inning to start off this series. Down in the zone, and Bryce got a pretty good piece of it.
And if you wonder why McCann is doing that with his signs, catchers will do that if they think third base coaches and first base coaches are relaying signals to hitters. And there's been times in the major leagues, in my experiences, where third base coaches have whistled on fastballs, or, you know, I'm not saying these guys are doing it, but it does happen on occasion, and maybe he's had that happen to him with another team, and that's why he's being so sneaky here in the first.
And Harper able to get down and foul another one off.
Remember Joe Malfitano with the Dodgers was doing it one day. I mean, our third baseman said, hey, if you keep doing that, someone's going to get drilled. And he kept doing it, and someone got drilled.
Well, this is Bryce. Foul after foul here. Deeper he gets into an at-bat, obviously the more dangerous he becomes.
Well, he's leading the league in a lot of things, and I guarantee you he's leading the league in foul balls. There is no doubt about it. He spoils some nasty pitches with 2 strikes.
Two again. Pitch up. Bryce seeing a fastball, 94.
Little extra, 94 on the heater from Tanaka. Kind of in battle mode, so he was a hair tardy, and that had a few more miles per hour than he's seen so far. Good battle work in here.
What a good take. What a good at bat this is.
See, this is, I was telling Al Leiter, he's doing color tonight for the Yankees. I said, you're going to swing in your mind at some pitches that Bryce takes, because they're strikes for 58, 59 feet. In the last second, they drop out of the zone. You're like, how in the world did he take that pitch where 99% of the guys are swinging? That was one of them.
And a chopper, right side. Bryce running hard, shoveled over by Drew. Harper does one thing, though. He makes Tanaka throw a lot of first inning pitches in a 1-2-3. At Yankee Stadium, breezy evening. Right now that breeze moving out toward right center. Alex Rodriguez, over his last 16 games, hitting just under 360. On base percentage over 470. Scoring some runs. He's hit 11 home runs and driven in 28. He's 1 for 10 career against Max Scherzer.
Yeah, last start through the fastball 55% of the time. Slider 32. Barely threw the curveball at 2%. Changeup at 85. So for his first loss since May 1st last start against Toronto in the second, 6 innings, 4 runs on 6 hits, struck out 5 Blue Jays, walked 2, threw 101 pitches. Remember, he was awesome through 5 and just kind of hit the wall in the 6th inning, and we thought maybe it was because of the 13 strikeout performance the previous start against the Cubs. Should be strong here tonight against the Yankees.
Fastball up to Brett Gardner. Yankees leadoff guy hitting .278. On base percentage to go with that, .355.
Well, one of his keys tonight is keep the ball in the yard. The Yankees have homered in 14 of their last 16 games since May 22nd, and they hit 7 home runs in a 3-game series against the Angels.
And a challenge fastball on 2-0, fouled. He was late. The Yankees have hit 74 this year, second only to, can you guess? It's not the Toronto Blue Jays, it's the Houston Astros. Gardner's had 5 of his own. Up and in on the foul tip, 94. And he's late for that one too. A pop-up left field. Robinson coming on, and Clint has it for the first out.
Oh, a little change in the defense. Michael A. Taylor inserted into center field late. Clint Robinson was in there earlier. Bryce Harper, Desmond Rendon left side, Espinosa Zimmerman right side, Wilson Ramos behind the plate. And Danny Espinosa was out early today, throwing from left field and taking fly balls in left field.
The lineup plot thickens. Well, we saw Danny get a little time out there at the end of the homestand. I don't think there's anything on a baseball field defensively this guy cannot do.
Catch. Pitch.
I bet he could catch it.
I bet you could.
Got behind there for a couple of days and worked on it. Dan has more on Danny Espinosa a little later. Chase Headley on an 8-game hitting streak. He's at .252 overall. And Max takes a little bit off. The 86 misses up and away. Headley 4 for 14 with 3 walks against Max Scherzer. Came over and hit .262 for the Yanks in 58 games after the deadline last year. They really watered down this infield. It's interesting what they do at first base and second base where they don't water. And that's a bouncer in there.
Those are like the slip and slides.
Yeah, that's like your leadoff area is dry. And then as you approach second base, your sliding area is dry.
That's the diamond dry, so you don't stick.
2-2 pitch. Another challenge fastball. It's hit well to left center, but Michael A. Taylor right at the edge or in front of the track. 2 down. Inside the numbers with STG as Max Scherzer piles up great numbers. The ERA, the league, only hitting .202 against him. Strikeouts, innings. The strikeout to walk ratio has really popped up further for him this year. One other stat, he's best in the National League, and obviously this is an interleague game, but when he pitches on the road, his ERA is 0.79. Here's Alex Rodriguez. 95 right in there.
Talked to him today and told him that he hasn't had success against Max Scherzer. He said, FP, that could be back when I was 19 years old. He said those numbers, he said, you never know. Something like 1 for 12, I think. Career off Scherzer.
Wilson Ramos took a shot there, and Gary Cederson's going to give him a minute.
Where to get him?
Near that right shoulder flap. That's a nasty breaking ball down and away on an 0-2 count. Each pitcher with a 1-2-3 first inning. The series in the Bronx is underway.
Matitude. Go Nats, go Nats, go Nats. Matitude. Go Nats, go Nats, go Nats. Matitude. Go Nats.
A pretty nice but effective, simple message here from some of our guys following the Nats. Saw a couple of curly W's coming up on the train today.
Did.
Mazda do-ups for the Nats and what they've done against right-handed pitching this year. Ryan Zimmerman, Clint Robinson, Wilson Ramos.
They were fired up. Is there a Starbucks here?
I was thinking they stopped at every one between Midtown and here.
I mean, they got everything else in this ballpark. There's got to be a Starbucks here.
Yeah. Ryan 1 for 7 with the dramatic homer. And a couple of RBIs against the Yankees in that series. The walk-off homer. The offensive highlight of that 2-game set. Well, let's hope the day off was, and Sunday, Ryan, not in the lineup. A couple of days, a refreshing experience for him.
Well, that foot's been barking, so they tried to get him off it. That plantar fasciitis has been really giving him fits.
Four for 42 and 7 for 54.
That just means he's got a lot of base hits coming.
It sure does. And the number of balls hit hard. Ground balls and fly balls. And a 1-2 count here. Pitch up. Hits it hard left side. Over to cover it. Gregorius. And he's got Zimmerman at first. If Ryan's healthy, he beats that ball out. Well played by the New York shortstop.
If Ryan's healthy, he definitely beats that ball out. And you can watch him kind of lumbering down the line, knowing that he's not going to beat it. What a play by DIDI Gregorius. And I know Ryan, I know he's thinking that's the story of my season. Hit it hard, Gregorius in the hole, and giving it everything he's got. And Tanaka approves. Nice play.
4 in a row to start the game and 3 ground balls. Clint Robinson next. It's on the outside edge with 77. Clint had a RBI hit in that New York series. Did he check? Harry Cedarstrom doesn't even need the appeal. He called it ball 1. Short porch in right field here. 3:14 down the line.
Might take you a few pitches off of a guy like Tanaka to get your timing down. We see the pause, you know, when he takes his step back. And as a hitter, when you haven't faced a guy before, that could disrupt your rhythm a hair. See that pause right there?
Clint Robinson hits one hard and hooks it foul.
Man, if I was a lefty in this ballpark, I would get right on the plate and pull everything for 2 days. And if it messed up my swing for a couple games after that, so be it, because right field is right on top of you.
And the wall kind of goes straight out for a while, so it's not that deep until it gets to the deep gap where it's 385.
I mean, 2 days, just stand right on top of the plate if you're left-handed and hook everything.
1-2 delivery. Holding it and holding it, Brian McCann. Ball 2.
Little two-seam fastball. Everything pretty much in the sequence except for the first pitch in that one. 94 extra fastball.
And he goes down low and splits up the left-handed batter.
Celebrate Bryce Harper and Max Scherzer being named National League Player and Pitcher of the Month with 2 discounted ticket offers. Receive 34% off tickets June 17th today. I like this.
That's why Bryce likes 34. That's a lot more than 7%.
What if Bryce was 99? What if that was his number? Max Scherzer 31% off tickets June 23rd to 25th. Visit nationals.com/May. It's a limited time offer.
I think the marketing department was prepared to give 9.9% off anybody whose number is 99. Wilson Ramos reaching, and that's going to be 6 in a row for Tanaka. to start the ball game, and he gets 2 ground ball outs in each of the first 2 innings. Yankees for the Achiever and You, PNC Bank, with our minor league report and about guys about to be minor leaguers. Nats didn't get to pick until the 58th overall pick. Andrew Stevenson, who plays as hard as anybody in that draft, and go down about 4 more spots there.
Yeah, Mariano Rivera Jr., 134th pick, 4th round. How coincidental is that we're here in the Bronx in Yankee Stadium and the Nats took the great closer's son.
Isn't that something? And we saw a picture of him today, and the likeness is a little scary.
Yeah, kind of developed late, kind of a late bloomer. Got a good slider right here. And it was cool being here today because everybody's seen him grow up. You know, all the broadcasters for the Yankees, all the people that have been around this ballpark for years saw him when he was little, and gets drafted today by the Nats. How cool is that?
Very nice. Ball hit high, ball hit deep by Teixeira, and Taylor will grab it right at the edge of the track. 4 outs in a row for Max Scherzer, 3 of them fly balls. He's used the big part of the park so far.
Don't know this ballpark very well, but I watched fly balls in batting practice today that were crushed to center field and they went nowhere. So the runway is from about the bullpen in right center over to right.
Yeah.
But for whatever reason today, nothing going out to left, nothing going out to center. Teixeira touched that ball fairly well.
And here's Brian McCann. That jet stream works pretty well into his approach. He's hit 9 home runs this year. And that's a Scherzer curveball that's in there. McCann, 23 home runs with the Yankees last year, 75 RBIs. In his first year in the Bronx when he hit 232. And he's on his way to that kind of total again with 9. 1 for 8 career against Scherzer. It's a pretty good fastball. Tailing down and away.
American Standard, who's hot, who's not? Danny Espinosa's stash on the left is definitely hot, but he's also hitting .308 with 20 runs on the road. And Brian McCann's OPS at home, bueno. OPS on the road, no bueno. So we got who's hot, who's not on both sides. Nicely done.
Three strikeouts, 4 career walks against Scherzer. And a 2-2 pitch. Hit well to left center. Right where Max Scherzer threw it is where Brian McCann hit it. And Taylor had a hard time getting a handle on it, or there might have been a play at second base.
Not going away from the play like that, no shot. Whenever a center fielder, you're going the gap away from a play, it doesn't matter the speed of the runner. He just did a good job to cut this off and keep it to a double. Nice piece of hitting by Brian McCann. Just took an off-speed pitch away, drilled it in the gap, tailing away from Taylor. He does a nice job turning on the Jets, cutting that off, going toward the fence, and he thought better of trying to throw back across his body and kept McCann to just a double.
Here's Beltran.
Runner in scoring position, 95.
Left-handed 258 this year, but just 243 overall.
'96. Throw one harder and higher right here.
Desmond hanging around behind McCann.
97. Tried.
And quite a pick by Ramos. Up and in, and that couldn't have felt too good.
He needs a new bat.
He does.
Well, just when you think he's going to 96 you on the outer half, Scherzer brings it into the inner half and caught Beltran kind of leaning over the plate to protect. If I'm a hitter right now, I don't know where Max Scherzer's going with this pitch.
.22 RBIs for Carlos Beltran. 0 for 1 career. He's only met Scherzer one time. Well, had him 0-2 with a couple of heaters. Now the count full. A decision every time he's pitched against the Yankees.
I just think with DD Gregorius on deck, 238, Steven Drew 168, and Ramon Flores 182 coming up. I don't know how interested Max Scherzer is in really throwing a quality strike right here, 3-2 to a veteran guy that knows how to drive in runs, regardless of what Beltran's numbers are right now. 243, 4 and 22. This might be an unintentional, intentional. If you want to swing at my pitch right here, 3-2, go ahead. If not, I'll take my chances with what's coming.
Yeah, this is a guy 2 RBI short of 1,400.
Or just go right after.
And Scherzer blows him away with 96. Second strikeout tonight.
Well, that was a nice trip by Wilson Ramos. Max Scherzer called him out there and said, what do you want to do right here? And obviously, all of us should have known better that Max Scherzer was just going to throw it as hard as he could and see if he could hit it, because that's just how he's made up.
Now he gets to take on the 238 hitting Gregorius with 2 down.
Been swinging it better lately when you talk to people around the ball club.
Center cut, foul ball. Beyond the reach of Zimmerman, just enough hook to not be an RBI.
Yeah, since May 20th, he's hitting 304, 17 for his last 56 in 18 games. Batted 204 before that. So he's hot, and he got a first pitch changeup and almost kept it fair. Having a good June.
Yeah, when the Yankees got to Washington, he was hitting .204. 1-1 pitch. And Ramos continues to set up away, and the fastball up and away, ball 2. Brian McCann, a 1-out double. He's still at second.
Some lows never stop improving. Strikeout to walk ratio, Max Scherzer since 2010.
Almost unheard of numbers this year.
Look at that. This
92 Ks, 12 walks. Counting the 2 tonight. And a breaking ball. Hit pretty well to left. Robinson misjudged it for a moment, and then it started tailing on him.
Had it all the way. Can of corn. Not a problem. Perfect route.
Whatever you say.
An outs and out. Stadium. The Washington Nationals Beltway Burger Pack is back for Thursdays and Fridays this season at Nats Park. You receive a game ticket and your burger at the very same time. Fries a little bit later. Drink whenever you want it. That's starting at just $25. Visit nationals.com/burger for more details.
Ian Desmond batting in the 7th spot tonight. He had quite a series against the Yankees. Couple of homers, 3 RBIs, 3 hits in that 2-game sweep. He got 92 on the first pitch. And another heater outside.
So we go to new ballparks. I'm always looking for the pitch speed, the total pitches, the balls and the strikes, and I just found it here at Yankee Stadium. Took me a minute. It's right over the mug shots of everybody, right at the top. See that? 34 pitches, 23 strikes, 11 balls.
3 fastballs to Ian Desmond. 1-2.
I like where it's at. It's right out in front of us. Exactly. A lot of ballparks, you have to look down the corner, maybe down the left field line. There it is for you right there.
Atlanta was really the first park to put a big video screen in dead center field. As long as it's up high enough,
yeah, over
the batter's eye, not a problem. And this one is pretty spectacular here. 1-2 pitch. Then the slider. Cutter, 85, and he almost got the inside edge with it.
Gary Cederstrom has been on the money tonight, but he has a very hitter-friendly zone. He is not wide east and west with anything. Not giving corners. And I would say that neither guy tonight needs help.
And he got that one right. 3-2. Ian Desmond has walked just 12 times this year.
Close.
And Desmond, 4th most strikeouts in the National League, goes down for the 64th time.
Well,
and 7 straight to start the game.
He's a swinger on 3-2, and I told you that pitchers love to know the tendencies of hitters. And if you have a guy that swings 3-2 90-95% of the time, you know you don't have to throw a strike in that count. Where you would think, oh, it's 3-2, I have to throw a strike, I can't walk a guy. No, if you know a guy's swinging, I've seen it all season long. Pitchers that throw balls in a 3-2 count because you know he's swinging.
Here's Danny Espinosa. 1 for 5 in the Yankee series at home with the base on balls. Trying to chop a breaking ball.
Yep. It's got a life of its own. Should have a name, really.
That one stays outside.
The season he's having, he should grow one again next spring training. He has been outstanding for 2+ months.
And it's there, and then it's not. That splitter straight down at 88.
Leads all National League second baseman with 7 home runs, tied with Colton Wong.
And the 1-2 to Danny. Same pitch a little bit further out. Let's check in with Dan on Span.
Bob, DENARD Span, because of 2 surgeries on core muscles in the last 7 months, he didn't really have an off season to get in game condition, and he feels that's been a major factor in these injuries, the knee, the back of late. Span admitted to me today that he's been consciously thinking about when to really gear up and go close to full speed. Other times he's been playing it smart and keeping the big picture in mind. He's hoping he can kind of ride things out as is until the All-Star break, and then a couple days off might help him. But he's really not at full strength right now, just trying to go on a game-by-game basis as best he can.
Yeah, it's a good point. We forget how little he got to do early. Then he came in like gangbusters, was on base all but about 2 games he played in the first 5 weeks.
But anytime you have an off-season injury and come into camp still hurt, you're just playing uphill all year. You know, Jason Worth was going through that with his shoulder. It's like running against the wind for 6 months.
Adds a breaking ball that ends up down the middle for strike 1. Michael A. Taylor at 228. Still looking for his first base hit against the Yankees. 0 for 7 in that previous series. Crowd making some noise with 2 outs and 2 strikes. And he'll just bump one out to center. And it's hanging up for Brett Gardner. 3 perfect innings for Tanaka to start his night in a scoreless game. you by University of Maryland, University College. Bobby Valentine, this date in '99, would reappear after being tossed in a rather lame disguise, but hung around the Mets dugout for a while. And FP, did Bobby not know that that game was being televised? Mike Piazza had been called for catcher's interference. Randy Marsh threw him out.
I thought it was an amazing disguise with the two eye blacks, the stickers as mustache.
They're playing Toronto.
Maybe, maybe he thought they weren't on TV because it was the Blue Jays.
Yeah, I thought it was a great disguise too, but baseball was not amused. $5,000 fine, suspended him for 2 games. The Mets, by the way, went on to win that night 4-3. So maybe worth every penny. There's a fastball to the outside edge, and Max Scherzer delivers to Stephen Drew, who's 2 for 14 career against him.
If he was really thinking right, he would have had a trench coat on.
Now, yeah, you could get lost in the dugout with one of those on.
Oh, Peter Sellers, Inspector Clouseau.
Stephen Drew at $168 right now. 270 career hitter before this season.
Two for 9 on the homestand with a couple homers, though. He can run into him. He's dangerous at times. Kind of a feast or famine guy.
7 homers, a heavy 168, and that's out of play. Topper shut and first alert weather. The only weather forecast that gives you the 3-degree guarantee. Yet the area's most accurate forecast, first alert weather tonight at 11. WUSA 9 joining us tonight. News after the game. That ball deep to right, and he did run into one. That's number 8. And Stephen Drew puts the Yankees on top. Max Scherzer gives up his 6th homer of the year.
It's the Yankees' 8th home run in their last 3+ games. And they've now homered in 15 of their last 17 ball games. Check out the pitch, the location. Pulled it across. It was supposed to be away. He threw it to the inner half. You saw Wilson Ramos with the reach to the inside part of the plate.
And now Ramon Flores will fly one to center. Rookie just called up. And now 4 for 23 in 9 ball games. That's the first out, 3rd inning.
It just goes to show you, you got a guy that's kind of hot right now. Look where Ramos is set up on the outer half of the plate. And watch the reach. He wants the fastball away. And usually that's where Max Scherzer puts it, but he just kind of humped up on the fastball, overthrew it, pulled it back across. Right into Stephen Drew's turbo zone for home run number 8.
And Max knew it. Top of the order, Brett Gardner. (2-0).
I was told that right field here is shorter than, or plays shorter than Citizens Bank's right field.
Well, we saw that in '09. They were able to identify pretty quickly after this park opened, and that's we're here in June. And everything to right center was just like a jet stream. Scherzer goes 3-0 here on the leadoff man, Gardner. And he walks him on 4 pitches. That's a runner who has stolen 14 bases. First walk of the night, and Chase Headley is next.
Well, he's got to keep Brett Gardner close. 14 out of 17 in stolen bases this year, standing on first.
And pulling that fastball off the inside part of the plate. Headley fly ball to center, first time up. Gardner 14 out of 17. He ranks second in the American League behind the 17th of Jose Altuve and his teammate Jacoby Ellsbury on the DL right now with a right knee sprain. Has 14. That injury by Ellsbury was suffered in D.C. in Game 2 of that series. Espinosa, Desmond looking for a ground ball here. Scherzer keeping it low, and he gets the bottom of the zone with a good fastball. Into the 8 o'clock hour in a few moments here in New York. We're in the Bronx. Nationals' first visit to Yankee Stadium in 6 years. A homer by Stephen Drew has New York on top, leading off this third inning. Target right on the edge, about knee high. Max got it up out over the plate, and Headley still couldn't get to it. Asking the umpire if it would have been a called strike. And that's strikeout number 3.
Maybe talking about some other pitches in the sequence as well to Gary Cederstrom, but that was just a challenge fastball, top of the zone. That pitch, Carp, to Stephen Drew that was supposed to be away by Max Scherzer, he's been so pinpoint with his command. When you hook a drive off the tee, what do? You overswing, right?
Too hard, yeah.
Too hard, and that's exactly what he tried to do. Too fast, too hard, kind of held on to it too long. Same principle right there. He wanted the fastball away, tried to hump up on the fastball away, and overthrew it and pulled it to the other side of the plate. A lot like a hook off the tee box. Same kind of principle with the mechanics.
Yeah, I've heard guys tell me that's what it feels like.
The guys that you hit in the forehead down on the other fairway walking up.
I've had guys tell me that hook's not a good feeling thing. Max got ahead of Alex first time and then struck him out on the pitch you just saw. And with Gardner getting a pretty sizable lead, another check throw over there. Got a fastball, hits it hard to left. And Clint Robinson on the run grabs it. So a homer by Drew on a ball off the inside edge, and the Yankees are on top.
promo code NATS50 when you order. Better ingredients, better pizza. Papa John's, official pizza of your Washington Nationals.
1-2-0 Yankees. Nothing offensively for the Nationals so far. So freight rail works due up this month of June. Very good for Escobar, but not for many others on the team except for Bryce Harper. Anthony Rendon, 16 at bats, 15 of those on the homestand when he was reactivated.
I'm changing pens. I'm going from blue to orange. See if that
would be a bad idea. Nats haven't scored since the 5th inning on Sunday. Escobar gashes one to center, and that's in front of Gardner. He'll be around the bag, and the Nats have their first base runner on a hit up the middle.
Way to go, Orange Pen. Way to go, Yunel Escobar. There goes a no-hitter. So second time around, you're thinking they'll have a better game plan against Tanaka. And Escobar not waiting around a bit. Made a good decision to not go for 2 here. Gardner got on top of that ball quick. He's got a good arm. So there's your first hit. Leadoff man aboard here in the top of the 4th. When you haven't faced a guy before, like I always say, first time up, do a lot of recon, fill up the computer, have a good idea your second time up, make the adjustments.
Rendon hits one hard, and that's going to be a 6-4-3 double play. Yankees turn their 52nd of the year.
Well, you see the game plan second time around is don't wait around for the split. The split's been good for Tanaka. He's throwing strikes. Going to be a little more aggressive second time around. Anthony Rendon with the 6-4-3 double play, and Tanaka got exactly what he wanted.
Base is empty for Bryce Harper. Bryce, quite a battle first time.
That's the shortest that orange pen's ever been used. Back in the bag. Worthless orange pen. All right. Let's see what Brown does.
I was thinking blue seats right field. You have a blue one?
I had a blue one for 2 innings, 3 innings. It wasn't working.
Bryce Harper out to center. Going back is Gardner, approaching the wall, and Harper has gone out of Yankee Stadium in the second at bat of his life here. Not far from Monument Park. And there are some impressed Yankee fans buzzing about what they just saw.
The ball's not carrying to center. It really isn't. And when he hits them, they stay hit. 20th home run of the year for Bryce Harper. A bomb to center field here at Yankee Stadium. Wow.
Bryce hit 20 all of 2013. 22 the year before that when he was Rookie of the Year, and the sky is the limit in 2015. Ryan Zimmerman takes one in there at the knees. The Nats with their 60th homer of the year, and Bryce now 20 with 75, actually 47 RBIs, and his 33rd extra base hit.
And I found a pen.
The brown one?
Yeah, look. Okay. Orange single, orange 6-4-3, brown homer. Come on, Carp, get superstitious with me. It's fun.
Let me get you some crayons.
Yeah, you just go through life blaming it on other things.
Zimmerman, they play Ryan up the middle. That was hit pretty hard. So when you look at the 4 swings in that inning, Tanaka didn't fool anybody. Hard at base hit Escobar, hard double play ball Rendon, and then a real hard high fly ball. I think Bryce knew he got it. One hop into the bleachers, and this game is tied.
You enjoy a cold one. Look forward to Miller time later in tonight's game. That is brought to you by Miller Lite.
So Bryce with his 75th career homer on number 20 this year. And on to the bottom of the 4th inning with Mark Teixeira leading off. Fly ball to center first time. Mark has hit a home run against Max in his career, but he's only 3 for 14.
Brian Cashman saying that so far this year, Mark Teixeira, the MVP of the Yankees, he's got so many big hits. The average not where he wants it, but the power number 17 and 45, exactly where he wants him.
Yeah. And he leads the American League in RBIs. 2 more than Josh Donaldson with 45. 3rd in slugging, 3rd in extra base hits. 27 of his 44 hits have been for extra bases. 2-1 pitch, target away. Upstairs, Teixeira can't get there.
By design, climbing the ladder.
And then he drops 87. The off-speed pitch, diving straight down, strikeout number 4.
A nice changeup right here by Max Scherzer. Fastball up, changes eyesight, sees one high, next one's low, and about 8 miles an hour slower. Teixeira way out in front. It's good pitching.
Next up, Brian McCann. Ramos was set up away, and that fastball came up and in a bit. That double back in the second, his second career hit in 9 official at-bats against Scherzer.
Watch, wanted the fastball away again, and he kind of pulled it like I'm talking about into that turbo zone to a lefty.
Off speed for another strikeout.
Secondary pitches on point for Max Scherzer tonight. Fastball solid at 94 to 97. He's just yanked a few, paid the price on one bad pitch to Stephen Drew. But watch this changeup again off the fastball in. Yankees aren't picking up that change. In the sequence of it, the way he's going fastball up, changeup down, that makes it rough for any hitter.
Carlos Beltran struck out by Scherzer first time. And that ball bouncing into right field. There was not a whole lot of room there between Zimmerman and Espinosa. So some top spin on that ball, and a runner aboard with 2 outs for DD Gregorius. He hit that adventurous ball out to Clint Robinson 2 innings ago in left field. So Scherzer 11 pitches this inning, 13 in the first, then 20 in the second, 17 more 3rd inning with the homer and the walk.
Kind of working for him. Watch where Ramos is set up again, and watch where the pitch ends up. And when you throw 95 or 96, you usually can get away with location mistakes like that. He wanted that away, pulled it in. This kind of means he's flying open, little rotational toward the first baseline and not staying back and getting it out front. But like I said, everything else has been totally on point.
And a ball down in the zone. Ian Desmond will go right to the bag unassisted. And Max Scherzer has a good inning. So you get him back even. He goes to work. At one point struck out 3 out of 4 hitters.
Stephen Drew, his 8th of the year, made it 1-0 Yankees. Then Bryce Harper with a nice inside-out swing. You see where that pitch was? Down and in. I mean, that's a pitcher's pitch that he just went the other way, almost straightaway center field for his 20th home run of the year. And that's where we're at, 1-1 in a pitcher's duel here in the Bronx.
Robinson, Ramos, Desmond, top of the 5th. Started outside, came back and got the outer half, strike 1. And then the splitter. Tanaka career record in the big league, 16-6, his 26th Major League start. He was 13-5 in his debut for the Yankees last year.
You remember in the 90s when the split was the pitch? It seemed like that was everybody's out pitch, you know, late 80s, early 90s, mid 90s. And guys started getting away from it because it caused arm problems and it also took velocity off your fastball. And Tanaka's had arm problems, and you see how many times he throws that split. 22% of the time his last start. And you wonder if that has anything to do with the recent difficulties in the drop in velocity.
He's going to get the call on that fastball on the outer edge to Clint Robinson. Strikeout number 4.
What's pitch track think? I know McCann was set up off the plate, but he hit the target, got the call.
He had Wilson Ramos swinging at all of his pitches first time up.
I feel like the split has been replaced by the cut fastball.
Yeah.
That seems to be the in vogue pitch the last 5 years.
Well, he wasn't a starter, but a guy here in New York had a little to do with that.
Well, that's just the way it came out of his hand. He was blessed that that was natural.
Ramos a bouncing ball to short, first time up.
I mean, it looks just like a fastball, and you go to swing and the bottom drops out. And it's hard to pick up the rotation of it. Talking about the split. And it's a pitch that you can actually sit on and still not hit. And that doesn't happen very often.
Kind of crazy last inning. 7 pitches for a single, a double play ball, a homer, and a ground ball. 4 hitters, 7 pitches. Here's the 1-2 to Ramos. And that was it again. Brian McCann thought he missed it, and home plate umpire Gary Cederstrom says he foul tipped it. I think Cederstrom looked at the ball and saw a nick on it. They're still talking about
it. It looked like there was a little redirect to it.
Two balls, 2 strikes. One ball game, top of the 5th. Ramos got a fastball, hits it hard up the middle, and Stephen Drew, like he did for Zimmerman earlier, shaded up that way, 2 outs.
Nats Fans Choice Flex Packs are on sale now. Choose from some of the season's best matchups. When you pick 4 games, you get 1 free. Go to Nationals.com/FlexPack to pick your games today. I see red people. Maybe they were on the D-Cella with us today, because I think we went in reverse all the way from D.C. to New York.
Slowest train ever.
I mean,
well, they had water on the tracks in some spots today due to heavy rains in Delaware.
There was 3-legged dogs passing us.
Desmond cranks one to left, ball carrying, and Ramon Flores, they consider that guy a young defensive whiz, back to grab it. The Nats go 1-2-3, top of the 5th. Empire State Building in the background. Beautiful night in New York.
But he made his professional debut in left field on Sunday after DENARD Span needed to leave that ball game. And then earlier today, Espinosa was out in left field with Matt Williams and Tony Tarasco. working on getting angles to the ball and his footwork as he got behind throws to various bases. Matt Williams said today he would absolutely put Espinosa in left again during a game if need arises. He's very impressed with Espinosa's athleticism and his throws to bases today. For what it's worth, Danny Espinosa said the biggest challenge of movement out there to the outfield, getting used to what depth to play at. And FP, I know you played the infield and then transitioned to the outfield. What was the toughest part for you?
Staying interested in the ball game. As a middle infielder, you're talking to umpires, you're talking to base runners, you're putting on defenses, you're deciding who's going to cover on a steal. You're looking at signs all night, anticipating off speed and moving accordingly in the infield. In the outfield, you're just kind of thinking about your last at bat. You're thinking about your next at bat. When you get runners on base, you start to focus a little bit more, but it's hard to stay focused. Obviously, the newness of all of it for Danny, he'll concentrate at first, but it's kind of boring. And you just think about hitting the whole time, really.
Looking into the twilight, Robinson, 1 out. Bottom of the 5th, Stephen Drew retired.
And you have to kind of entertain yourself and maybe interact with the fans a little bit and stay focused. It's lonely out there, Bob, in the outfield.
Bored during a big league ball game. That's interesting.
Well, there's just too much time to think, and when you play the infield, you don't have any time to think about your at-bats because you have to be ready for the ball getting on you quick, and there's all kinds of things going on.
Fastball up to Ramon Flores, who was hitting .294 at AAA Scranton Wilkes-Barre this year. Yankees called him up on May 30th. Wilkes-Barre, of course, as we mentioned, been hurt for the last couple of weeks with that right knee sprain. And Chase Headley chatting with Joe Girardi. Gardner on deck, and that ball's fouled off to the left, 2-1.
Also, the other part of it, go to the outfield, just making sure you throw into the right base. The one general thing is keep the double play in order. And when infielders go to the outfield, the one thing you'll see all the time is they hit the cutoff man in the chest.
That ball down the left field line. Robinson over to cover it, and Ramon Flores with a nice stroke the other way. That's his 5th big league hit in 24 at-bats. So our next 5, first of all, we'll wrap it up here tomorrow. Nathan Eovaldi for the Yankees, and Gio goes for the Nats, 1 o'clock. So we won't be here long before it's on to 4 in Milwaukee commencing Thursday night. Make a note of the time on Saturday, and 2 Eastern Sunday. 1 on, 1 out. Brett Gardner, a fly ball to left and a base on balls. And that is right in there, outer half. 1-1. The Giants have 3 runs down in Queens and lead the Mets in Syndergaard 3-0, 4th inning. San Francisco throwing a young pitcher named Chris Heston tonight. 1-1 pitch. Breaking ball down and in.
Weird that both New York teams are at home at the same time. And weird that the Giants are staying in our hotel. Saw some people from San Francisco today, and I said, hey, you guys in the winner's bracket? I mean, it felt like we're in some sort of tournament.
Yeah. 2 balls, 1 strike. Gardner against the Nats this year 1 for 10 with a base on balls. With 94 to even things up.
Really made the adjustment on commanded the arm side part of the plate, staying back nice now. After a strikeout there earlier to Gardner, you see, I think, the 4th pitch.
And a chopper right side. So Max Scherzer just completed his 2nd time through the order. That time through, the Yankees went 2 for 8 with a couple of singles and a walk to Gardner. First time through, 2 for 9 with the Drew leadoff homer, 3rd inning. Swing and a miss on 86 in the dirt, and a quick throw to first. Max Scherzer, strikeout number 6, and that's 2 outs here in the 5th.
Well, you get the feeling he's starting to lock in, especially with the outer half of the fastball. The changeup has been there all night long. Last time out, he used it 12% of the time. I guarantee you he's used it more here tonight. It's been his go-to pitch, and that was a good one for strike 3 to Gardner.
And now Chase Headley with 2 outs. With the DH, Alex Rodriguez waiting. Headley 0 for 2. Fly ball to center, swinging strikeout.
Yeah, he's definitely got 3-time and 4-time around stuff. Meaning you can't really just lock in because you never know what's coming, and all 4 of his pitches are above average.
Right side, Zimmerman with an outstanding backhand pick. Keeping that ball out of right field and keeping Alex Rodriguez from batting with 2 men on base in a 1-1 game.
Highlights. Watch where his hands are on this home run. The pitch is down the middle. It's slow. See his hands inside the baseball. He's thinking the other way up the middle. If he's thinking pull right there, that's a ground ball to second. But because his hands are first and inside the baseball, he hits it the other way. So that's a ball that's down in the zone, exactly where Tanaka wants it. If you're thinking pull right there, it's a ground ball. Hands inside the baseball. It goes about 420 feet to center field. And it's just a mindset that he has right now. He's not trying to do too much. If he's trying to do too much, that's a rollover ground ball to second. That's kind of the story of his season. He's been thinking about stinging up the middle to the big part of the park, and he's rewarded with a 100-mile-an-hour home run. That's number 20.
Impressive. Here's Espinoza. Top of the 6th, and a one-hopper, Mark Teixeira. That swing you just saw by Harper, one of only 2 Nat hits tonight. Escobar the other. Two batters before him, a flare out to center field.
Same pitch. Watch this. The same pitch we just showed Bryce going deep. Same location. And Espinosa just catches it a little out front and pulls it to first base.
Michael A. Taylor next. High in the air, right field, backing up Carlos Beltran. And two quick outs at the bottom of the order to bring in Escobar, who had a single last time up. That was the Nats' first hit after they went 0 for 9. Line drive that dropped in front of Gardner. Then Rendon hit a ball sharply for a 6-4-3. And then Bryce Harper goes yard to tie things up. 6 in a row for Tanaka since. So that's kind of the two guys that have been getting it done lately with the bats. Escobar and Harper. Rendon will get his soon. Right down the inner half with 92. Tanaka went on the DL early. Right wrist tendonitis and a right forearm strain on April 29th. Came back on June 3rd. And Escobar rips another one. This one far to the right of Flores. He will round the bag and get into second base. Escobar keeping the inning going for Rendon, and you all know who's on deck.
Well, you see the game plan this time for Escobar. He was thinking pull. No hands inside the baseball that time. He was trying to do some 2-out damage, maybe thinking about leaving. Got on top of it. 2-out double. You know, Escobar, professional hitter.
Anthony Rendon, fly ball to center, ground ball to short. He should see something good to hit in this at bat.
Well, that's the advantage. You make a really good point there, Bob, of hitting in front of Bryce. He is going to get something to hit. Whenever you hit in front of a slugger that's having one of those years, they're going to go after Anthony Rendon here. He does not want to face Bryce Harper.
Check swing, and you hate to give one away like that. So Harper will lead off in the 7th. Quite a pitching matchup. We thought Tanaka and Scherzer might do this. Of Alexandria. Another great night for Yunel Escobar, who's sitting up over 330 now. Bryce Harper has gone deep for the 20th time this year, 75th of his career, and then Max Scherzer with 6 Ks. He is 4 strikeouts away from 100. Alex Rodriguez, first inning. Second inning, Carlos Beltran. In the third, Chase Headley. In the fourth, Teixeira and McCann. All over the place. And then finally, number 6, Brett Gardner in the fifth for the second out. So 6 strikeouts, 1 walk. And for Scherzer, 78 pitches, 51 strikes. Alex Rodriguez. Inside the numbers on A-Rod. 3rd all-time in RBI. 1997. Alex tonight 0 for 2, strikeout swinging, and then a line drive hit pretty well out to left field, ending the 3rd inning. Way outside. He had Alex Rodriguez lunging for that one. And a 1-2. Scherzer goes off speed at 88. Yankees box, single hits in the 2nd through the 5th innings. And their big blow, the leadoff homer right field, Stephen Drew in the 3rd, his 8th of the year. 2 singles, a double, a home run. Rodriguez a tapper, left side, here comes Rendon. Nicely done. Ryan Zimmerman had to nearly reach into the runner to grab that.
Yeah, throw kind of ran up the first baseline. Good play by Rendon, and like you said, Bob, you called it perfect. He just had to get his glove out of the way. It was going right into Alex Rodriguez.
So Teixeira and McCann, the next 2. I do believe Max Scherzer has moved things to another gear here. A couple of tough hitters here, though. The switch hitter Teixeira. Great job on the breaking ball. 81, unhittable. And that is lashed into the right field corner. Long way for Bryce Harper. And Mark Teixeira, that's his 28th extra base hit of the year out of his 45 total hits.
It's so strange about the shift they had on right there. That ball was hit too hard for Danny Espinosa to get, but had he gotten it, he would have robbed a double as a second baseman. And Bryce Harper hustling down the corner. Good swing by Teixeira. Another extra base hit. Just about 4 or 5 steps out of the reach of Espinosa. Good hustle by Harper. He was thinking, keep the double play in order.
Brian McCann doubled his first time. Ramos sets up out there again. 95, perfect. And then a curveball that he really turned on. This is Brian McCann's 11th year in the big leagues.
And he tried to climb the ladder. Remember last time McCann was up, he struck him out with a high fastball to a low change. That was a high fastball. Let's see if he goes to that low change again.
Oh-2 to a tough hitter. 1 out, and he turns over the changeup.
Now I think he just played the game. Up, down, try to climb the ladder again, throw one higher than high at 0-2 count. Guy that knows how to drive in runs with 35 so far this year. And you see the last pitch down. Maybe throw it higher than number 3 and see if he chases. Good changeup and a good foul ball by Brian McCann.
And Williams, not a whole lot of offense to work with lately. Another low scoring, tight ball game here. Ramos sets up where he has most of the night. And that ball is hit the other way. McCann, second opposite field hit of the night. Taylor will throw it in low. Cut off by Zimmerman. Runners at the corners. 1 out.
Mark Teixeira had the hold on that one at second base, or he'd have scored. He didn't know where Ian Desmond was playing. Desmond was playing right over second base. If he had checked behind him, he would have saw that Desmond's playing right up the middle, and he could have broke. But he didn't know where Desmond was playing. That little stutter step for the moment has cost the Yankees a run. Good piece of hitting by McCann. Elevated fastball away by Scherzer. And now Max has to go with his A+ stuff, looking for a ground ball or a strikeout in this situation.
And as you mentioned the experienced RBI man Beltran in there. Carlos Beltran this year 22 runs batted in. And he is 2 RBI short of 1,400 in his career. Base hit last time. Ground ball pulled through the right side. He's hit into 3 double plays. And that's into center. Here comes Taylor. He's going to have to dive and slide to make the catch. Never saw a signal from any umpire. We're assuming he's out. And now they called the runner out at second base. Is that a force play?
He called him safe. He didn't catch it.
Okay. So it's a force play at second base. Lance Barksdale, the second base umpire out there.
So good effort by Michael Taylor right here. You're thinking he might catch this ball. Either way, Mark Teixeira is going to tag up and score just based on the dive and the slide. He was already 3 steps right here.
Did he catch that?
And let's look at it again together. I think he would have argued a little more if he did. He'd be going nuts out now in center field if he caught it. And he didn't argue a bit, so I'm assuming the ball's on the ground somewhere in the sequence.
And in all the confusion, Teixeira is still at third base.
Yeah, I see him pick it up off the ground there at the end, and that's when Lance Barksdale called him safe.
You can hear the crowd just having conversations.
How did Teixeira not score?
With each other. Yeah, I mean, he's made 2 base running mistakes in this inning. DIDI Gregorius now, and he's 0 for 2. So what looked like a base hit with runners at first and third, 1 out, and no run comes in.
That's a rough at bat for Carlos Beltran. So he gets the fielder's choice at second base. Teixeira was caught in the middle of tagging up. He didn't know if Taylor caught it or not. And you know what you do right there? Smart base runners, you look to the second base umpire immediately for the sign. You don't listen to your third base coach. you go back to third and you look at the umpire, and as soon as he gives the safe sign, and he gave it quick, that's when you advance to home. And I don't think Teixeira was looking at Lance Barksdale at all. First, he didn't know where Ian Desmond was playing on the Brian McCann line drive, and then he didn't check the umpire right there. And Max Scherzer has a chance to get out of this inning with a tie ball game. How about that?
One, target away. 8-4-6 on that play, by the way. And a foul straight back.
Okay, I'm checking to see if Michael Taylor caught this. Let's watch Teixeira on the bottom of your screen. He's going back to tag, doesn't know. Look where he's looking. I don't have my telestrator working tonight, but he should be looking at Lance Barksdale right in the middle, the second base ump for the call. Any good base runner looks to an umpire on a catch, no catch, a trap call in the outfield, and you want the call as quick as possible so that you can either tag or advance on the play. It's a good lesson for you kids at home. Don't be the umpire. Look to the umpire quickly on balls that are way out in the outfield, because you can't see it if you're at third base.
1 ball, 2 strikes. Two balls, 2 strikes. Got him with a changeup at 88. Max Scherzer showing some emotion with that, and what a crazy inning that was. 88, and that is a CU.
That whole base running fiasco one more time, and we're going to make it our T-Mobile game changer, because in a 1-1 ball game with both pitchers dealing, it could end up to be a T-Mobile game changer here in a second. Let's check it out one more time. So the low line drive, great effort by Michael Taylor, and Teixeira at the bottom of the screen, and you watch Eric Cooper at the top of the screen signaling safe at the very top. So even if you're looking at Lance Barksdale in the middle, you still see Eric Cooper in the background signaling safe. And from where Teixeira is, he's trying to judge. So right now you look at an umpire. Find an umpire as quick as you can with your head. And he still doesn't know what's going on. But if you saw Eric Cooper at the top of the screen signaling safe, you could walk home at that point, because the ball was laying on the ground right next to Michael Taylor. Tough play for everybody involved.
Bryce Harper 1 for 2, homer 3 innings ago. Tanaka low 70s on his pitch count. And Bryce, good job to look at 88 and leave it down there.
What I would have done is tagged all the way and not looked at an umpire and just ran as soon as I thought it was in his glove. And then you solve all the problems that Mark Teixeira ran into right there.
inside the numbers with Jeep. Most home runs before the age of 23 among active players. And Bryce has a ways to go there. Showing bunt, and he bunts into a strikeout after he hit a home run. First out, 7th inning.
Well, if you saw the defense, he was thinking it's all he had to do is bunt it hard past Tanaka in a 1-1 ball game. I know the thought process right there. But with 2 strikes, I'm sure his skipper would have liked to see him try to hit number 21.
Next up, Ryan Zimmerman 0 for 2 with ground balls. 1 to short, 1 to second.
There's only been one player that I've ever witnessed that was amazing at bunting with 2 strikes, and that was one Rodney Carew. Not an easy thing to do.
Ryan Zimmerman can't get to 89 downstairs. 1 ball, 2 strikes here in the 7th. Well, Tanaka, a 3-hitter. 6 given up by Scherzer. This one dead even on solo home runs. And that's on the inside edge. Ryan Zimmerman 0 for 3, strikeout number 6.
Bring Dad out to the ball game for Father's Day and watch the Nats take on the Pirates. That's Sunday, June 21st, 1:35 start. So bring Dad to the yard. Sounds like a plan to me. Visit nationals.com to purchase your tickets today.
All right. Whoever you are, those are your dads. Get ready. And Clint Robinson pulls 1 foul, 2 outs. Here in the 7th, he is 0 for 2 with a pair of strikeouts. Tanaka last time out, 78 pitches in 7 really good innings at Seattle, a 3-1 win. Most pitches he's thrown this year, 97. Right before he went on the DL. That was against the Red Sox. Came in 3-1 with a 2.76 ERA. And this game's done nothing to hurt that 165 opponent's batting average.
Probably a little relieved, too, that Bryce bunted with 2 strikes, I'd imagine.
I would think a lot. 1-1. Busted bat. Center field. Ball falling. And Clint Robinson gets a base hit.
That was a beautiful thing for Clint Robinson. Couple of strikeouts, not seeing the split like a lot of guys tonight off of Tanaka. Just gets enough lumber on it for a 2-out single. Bat died a hero.
2-out chance. Wilson Ramos. Tanaka, to his credit, low in the zone all night long. Even the homer he gave up, Bryce did a great job to go down and get one. Now we're in the 9 o'clock hour shortly here at Yankee Stadium. BC, FP, DK, the crew's all together tonight for the first of a 2-game set. Day game tomorrow against the Yankees. And the crowd, they want a stretch right here. Man at first, 2 outs.
So when you establish that fastball down the zone like Tanaka has tonight, and then you have the split off of it that goes even further down, that's where it's tough as a hitter, because usually you say if it's low, let it go, it's going to go out of the zone, but his fastball stayed up enough at the bottom of the zone for a strike, so you see the split and you have to commit to it as a hitter.
Ramos the other way, it's got a chance, and it's through. Robinson stopping at second. Ian Desmond now with 2 men aboard. First time tonight, back-to-back hits.
A nice piece of hitting by Wilson Ramos, going with it right here. And now Clint Robinson in scoring position. And the stage is set for Ian Desmond.
Lefty Justin Wilson, one of, count 'em, 5 left-handers in the Yankee bullpen.
Boy, this is where if DENARD Spam was half healthy, you'd think about pinch running him at second for Clint Robinson.
And Desmond out to center for Brett Gardner. The Nats have stranded 3 runners, all of them in the last 2 innings. Time for the Hyundai 7th inning stretch. That's where you go driving to close things out for the night. Nationals and may not be reproduced or retransmitted in any form. And the accounts and descriptions of this game may not be disseminated without the expressed written consent of the Washington Nationals. That baseball spinning its way through the turf, and part of it about to become unattached. We're going bottom 7. 8-9-1 for the Yankees, and Toyota Case for Kids busy tonight. Max Scherzer has 7 strikeouts in 6 innings. Times that by $37, and that's what's coming to the Children's Inn at the National Institutes of Health tonight. Thanks to the generosity and community involvement of our Washington area Toyota dealers. 1 o'clock tomorrow, Gio. Taking on the Yankees for the 8th time in his career, and there's Nathan Eovaldi. He's only 2-4 career in 8 starts against the Nats with a couple of different ball clubs. So Nats Extra 1230 will join you from the stadium at 1, and Eovaldi throws first pitch at 1:05.
Just saw that shot of Eovaldi with the mustache and had a Carl Pavano flashback for a second.
I thought the same thing when I saw our guys putting that together before the game.
Did you?
Well, I said I thought Carl Pavano was doing TV for the Marlins.
Yeah.
Evidently, he's made a comeback. So here's Max. 100 pitches, 68 strikes, and everybody on their toes behind him. He gave up 2 hits in an inning for the first time in the 6th.
And has to feel lucky that Mark Teixeira was playing station-to-station baseball last inning, or the Yankees would be up 2-1.
The other element about a ball game like this, you're in the American League, so the managers don't have to make some crucial decision about hitting for their starter. They can just leave them in as long as they can go and let them do their thing.
In all of the analysis of that play, obviously you got to go back and tag. That's what you do, number one. My point was that once you mess it up like Teixeira did, find an umpire. They can help you out. They can bail you out when you don't go back and tag, give you that call quick. And I thought Eric Cooper did a nice job of rotating out there and giving that call quick enough where if Teixeira saw him, he could have simply just walked home. Ball goes up, you're at third, you go back. It's simple.
Stephen Drew. And the count 1-1. Change-up fading away. Ball 2. Giants, by the way, have widened their lead over the Mets to 5-0. 7th inning down at Citi Field. Off speed again, outside again.
Pitch number 105 coming. Topper shut in first alert weather, the only weather forecast that gives you a 3-degree guarantee. The area's most accurate forecast, first alert weather, tonight at 11 on WUSA 9 News.
To the right side. Good comeback in that at bat by Scherzer. Routine play, Danny Espinosa. When Max went 6 against the Blue Jays last week, he had gone at least 7 and twice 8 in that, his last 8 times out before that. So he has been more than durable for the Nats.
Well, his skipper loves what he's doing here tonight and wants to give him a chance for the win. That's why he's extending him here. I mean, he's still strong in the 7th, but you got a guy that's going out there working like he is. He's had some tough luck, no decisions and losses this year. Matt Williams wants to get him a W.
Phone ringing in the bullpen right about now. Scherzer, a couple of heaters, and that one hit well into right. And the rookie Ramon Flores is 2 for 3 tonight. He's 23 years of age from Venezuela. 275 minor league hitter.
Stayed on that changeup nice. See if he has any notions of going, or if Joe Girardi has any notions of putting on a hit and run here and putting some runners into motion.
He is a good base runner. At least he was in the minor leagues, where he stole 60 bags total. 1-on-1 out. Here's Gardner. Now the Nats getting busy with Matt Thornton, the lefty, former Yankee, and Aaron Barrett. Right over the plate, evidently low, and it's 1-1.
Well, that's where he wants it. He's looking for a ground ball, even though Brett Gardner's a tough guy to double up because he can fly. It's exactly where he wanted that pitch.
We've updated you a couple of times on that Giants-Mets game and mentioned Chris Heston earlier. He now has a no-hitter against the Mets through 7. Has hit 2 batters, hasn't walked anybody, 8 strikeouts. Impressive. And we're told he's driven in 2 runs.
Other than that, he's having a horrible evening.
Wow. 1-2 to Gardner.
Pitch number 112.96. And this is where we usually see Max Scherzer just empty the tank.
He went soft at 80. And Ramos keeps it close.
I don't think I've ever seen a left fielder play further over toward the line in my life. Clint Robinson is almost in foul territory.
Long hold here.
That leaves a big gap in left center field. And with the go-ahead run on first base, usually in these situations you pinch the gaps. It tells you what kind of information they have on Brett Gardner, that they're playing Robinson that far over on the line.
They're playing him further over than they did DD Gregorius earlier. 2-2. Busted bat, and that's going to fall in front of Robinson. There's no defense for that. So the Yankees have 2 on 1 out with Chase Headley coming in.
So you understand Matt Williams' dilemma right here, right? Obviously it's about a team win, and that comes first and foremost, but he's got his horse out there who's 6-4 with a 1.85, and with a little luck should have a better record than that, I guess, to say the least. So he wants to get him through this inning, hoping his ball club in the bottom of the, or the top of the 8th can score some runs and have him qualify for a W. Steve McCaddy out there trying to just give him a blow right now, but that's the tough part about managing the American League. You want to go with your guy that's done so well for you all year and reward him, but you also have to think about the ball club too, and that's the tricky part.
Chase Headley stepping in. Came into this one having hit safely in 8 straight games. 0 for 3 tonight, 4 for 17 career against Max Scherzer. Hits it hard to right. Bryce Harper grabs it, and the runners return. There are times, I guess, when the shallow right field at Yankee Stadium can't work against
Well, it's just so hard for Scherzer right now to go closer mode after 115 pitches. He wants to let it rip, but what's left in the tank? I mean, he's giving you everything he's got right here, trying to get out of this thing. And you see, he's stalking right now. That's my favorite part about a Max Scherzer start. He's got that look in his eye, and he's stalking his prey, and he needs one more out.
Scherzer and A-Rod.
Here we go.
0 for 3 tonight. Slider, Desmond to third, and the ball hits the runner and goes into the Nationals dugout. The Yankees take the lead. Ball runner arriving at the same time.
From where we're sitting, you can see there was no lane for Ian Desmond to make this throw. The play might have been at second base. Although he knew that Brett Gardner was on first, and he was probably going to, well, it was going to be close at second base, but you could see this developing. And Flores did a nice job of getting wide and going right into Anthony Rendon's glove, so there was no throwing lane for Ian Desmond. But that's when you're hoping your third baseman creates a throwing lane and a target for you. And that just looked bad right from the start, and that's too bad for Max Scherzer.
3 hits in the inning. Max done for the night, and New York on top. Couple of hits, and they'll have 2 outs, runners on second and third. Matt Thornton, who was here in New York for 46 games last year before coming to the Nats, takes over, and will be facing Mark Teixeira. Teixeira 3 for 15 career against him, and he will not be facing him. They'll take on the left-hander McCann.
So Teixeira hitting .217 right-handed this year, just 13 for 60. And Matt Williams playing the left-on-left percentages, going after Brian McCann, loading the bases.
So lefty-lefty matchup now, and Thornton against McCann. The matchup has gone Matt's way. A couple of fly balls, 0 for 2.
And McCann hitting just 200 against lefties this year. 8 for 40. Huge out right here. You had to score to win this game anyway if you're Matt Williams and the Nats. Keep it right here and see what happens.
Jammed in, and McCann turns on it. They'll drive in a couple of runs here. 3-0 New York. And Brian McCann has 3 hits tonight.
What he knew he was getting a fastball after the first pitch off speed missed, and you see the location mistake. It was middle in. Ramos wanted it down and away, and that's where Matt Thornton usually lives to lefties, is on the other side of the plate, down and away. He left it up and in. McCann was ready for it.
Gardner, Rodriguez scoring easily. So those 3 runs.
You give first place teams extra outs, they usually take advantage.
So all the runs in this inning, the 3 and 4 total charged to Max Scherzer. Beltran, and that ball gets away, but the runners all stay. Carlos Beltran, 1-for-1 career against Matt Thornton. And he hits one hard out to left. Yankees have a 5-1 lead. Ninth man to bat in the inning will be DIDI Gregorius.
Now you go back to that Desmond play, the only really chance he had was to first base and a slow running Alex Rodriguez. He chose to go the short way to third. Didn't work out. Threw it right into the runner. And the Yankees are taking advantage of the extra out.
In there to Gregorius. Tonight 0-for-3, 0-for-1 career against Thornton. The Yankees have 10 hits. 4 of them in this inning. Line drive, and Desmond snagging that one. Big inning for the Yankees.
Show us what you've got, Nats fans. Matt Williams wants you to challenge him to anything. Just tweet your challenge using hashtag #IChallengeMatt all week long for your chance to win. Visit www.masson.me. I challenge Matt to learn more. Brought to you by Care First Blue Cross Blue Shield, who encourages each of us to take a step towards a more active lifestyle.
Carlos Beltran done for the night. Chris Young takes over to strengthen the Yankees outfield defense. Dellin Betances takes over here. And we saw some of that arm of his in DC.
Well, the Yankees may have the best back end of the bullpen in all of baseball. This guy comes close to 100 at times. And you saw how much he throws the slider with that electric fastball, but the slider is nasty.
He threw 2 scoreless innings, 8th and 9th at Washington before the Zimmerman walk-off homer on Tuesday, May 19th. Danny Espinosa takes one inside edge, 96. Danny 0 for 1 against him that night with a strikeout. Taylor next, 1-2 to Danny. Breaking ball to left, and diving is Ramon Flores.
Well, you thought for sure that one was falling. I know Danny Espinosa did, but Ramon Flores out of nowhere. And they told us he was an above-average left fielder today, and he just proved it. Nice play.
Now Michael A. Taylor. Fastball up and away, 97. Counts even, 1-1. Michael tonight, 2 fly balls, 1 to center, 3rd inning. Right field, 6th inning, and Taylor Hill appears to be next in the Nats bullpen.
This guy throws 100 in the. We showed his arsenal. He throws his fastball 31% of the time. I'm not buying that. Sorry.
First of all, it'd be crazy if he did.
Yeah.
That one had a little cutting action away, it appeared. And there's Chris Young. 2 outs, 8th inning.
The Nats are back in Woodbridge June 12th through the 14th. Come out to the Fitz for Steven Souza Jr. figurine giveaway night. We'll be seeing Steven tomorrow. Well, Thursday when we go to Tampa. Camp out Saturday night fireworks spectacular. For all your ticket promotional information, call the number on your screen. Tampa's Monday. I'm in baseball mode and I have no idea what day it is.
Yeah, and then 4 nights in a row with the Rays next week. 2 there and 2 in DC. The ultimate home and home. 2 outs, bases empty. Escobar having a good night, trying to start something here. He goes up hacking. Escobar, though, 0 for 4 career with a walk against Dellin Betances. 28 years of age, 6'8", listed at 265. And a buckling breaking ball right there.
I mean, this got a response from Yankee fans like they were watching a post-game fireworks show. A lot of oohs and ahs on that slider.
showing him the fastball up. And then catcher, umpire both getting under that one. That one stays inside just a bit.
Little backup slider, didn't really slide, went the other way actually.
Chris Essen, by the way, still has the no-hitter. That game at Citi Field into the top of the ninth. Giants way ahead. Escobar. Hard not to be overmatched when a guy's throwing like that. 1-2-3, eighth inning. 5-1 Yankees.
Go back to the seventh inning, the Alex Rodriguez ground ball to Ian Desmond. Obviously a turning point in this game. There's a lot of things that could have happened right here. Anthony Rendon could have given Ian Desmond a better target and gotten outside and cleared himself from the runner and saw the ball. Ian Desmond could have eaten the ball right there and not thrown it to anybody. He could have got up and tried to throw it to Alex Rodriguez. All this is hindsight being 2020. The bottom line in all of this is the Nats have one run. Tanaka was good tonight. Their offense hasn't been good recently. And when you're scoring one run a game, you have to be Trump-type perfect on defense. And tonight they weren't. It's magnified.
Yeah. Taylor Hill takes over now. Stephen Drew, Ramon Flores, and Brett Gardner, bottom of the eighth for the Yankees. Max Scherzer, 6 2/3, 8 hits, 4 runs, all earned. A walk, 7 strikeouts. Those runs became earned when McCann got that 2-run single. Stephen Drew, home run, first time up. He's facing Taylor Hill for the first time. 84, missing low, 1-1. And that ball is flying way out of here. Halfway up the second level. And Stephen Drew has a 2-home-run night.
Well, he wanted it down and away. You see where Ramos is set up. Where was the pitch? All the way on the other side of the plate. Stephen Drew The game plan tonight was pitch him away. A couple have been in, and he's taken advantage. His 9th home run of the season. His 2nd home run of the game.
Strike called to Ramon Flores, who's had 2 for 3 and a run scored.
And then getting back to the offense, if you're pitching now, you feel like you have to be perfect.
Talked about that in April, didn't you?
Yeah, you can't make one mistake. And now you're out there grinding from the first pitch of the game. Whereas if you score a few in the first inning, maybe you can relax a little bit, get into your rhythm. But now you know you can't even afford to make one mistake.
3 for 4 from the number 9 man. So the Yankees have 5 hits in 8 at bats from the bottom 2 in their order tonight. And welcome to an American League ballpark.
And they'll get healthy, and the lineup will get healthy, and they'll click again. It's just right now they're piecing it together, and it's not pretty. And Tanaka was pretty good tonight, too.
And nobody in the division really doing anything to lead you to believe that anybody other than the Nats could be capable of running and hiding from the rest of the ball clubs. Brett Gardner, a walk, a single, 1 for 3. '86 too low again, 2-1. The Yankees have 8 hits in the last 3 innings. On a pitch up, Ian Desmond. Espinosa, he wheels and fires for the 6-4-3.
Follow the Nationals all season in 2015 with MLB.com at bat, the #1 app for live baseball. Up to the moment with in-game highlights, live look-ins, replay reviews, radio broadcasts, and StatCast. Get MLB.com at bat for your smartphone or tablet.
At Citi Field, Chris Heston is taking the mound for the bottom of the 9th, trying to throw a no-hitter against the Mets ahead 5-0. By the way, that error tonight on that play, the Nats had made 1 error in their previous 11 ball games. They climbed 5 spots in the league team defensive stats since the rough beginning, the first 5 weeks or so. 1 ball, 2 strikes, and that's outside. 2-2. And Ian Desmond can't reach that one. Shaded up the middle and to his right, 3rd hit of the inning. Chase Headley salvaging a 1 for 5. That one outside to Alex Rodriguez. 0 for 4 tonight. But he hit that ball to Desmond. It was ruled a fielder's choice, not a base hit.
Hit it hard, too. He's hit a couple balls hard tonight.
Yeah. He's just been surprisingly good for the Yankees this year. He's driven in 28 runs, 11 homers, top 10 in the league in slugging. And that one to Ian Desmond at short. Espinosa has it, and we're going to the top of the ninth. The Nats need one of their biggest frames of the year. Rendon, Harper, and then Ryan Zimmerman. You by Ocean City, Maryland. Put your vacation days to good use in Ocean City, Maryland. Book now at OCOcean.com. By Airlines for America, where airplanes land, opportunity takes off. And by Night Point Systems. They offer the technology you need when you need it. If you're not in the mood for the ocean, try a little concrete, New York City. What a sight on a spring evening. We're going to the top of the ninth inning. Anthony Rendon, Bryce Harper, and Ryan Zimmerman against left-hander Chasen Shreve, who faced one Nat in the series in Washington and struck out Bryce Harper. By the way, Ruben Tejada, with 2 outs in the ninth inning at Citi Field, is the Mets hitter trying to break up a no-hitter by the Giants' Chris Heston. Strike call, inner half to Rendon. 0 for 3 tonight. Fly ball and 2 grounders.
Yeah, fastball slider split from Shreve.
Tailing away. From Vegas, College of Southern Nevada, where Bryce played for a while. 6'3", 185. He's 24 years of age.
Oh, remember Bryce caught him in college. Bryce was his catcher. Two and one to Rendon. And into center. Brett Gardner, routine out. Yankees are trying to win their 6th in a row and go to 33-25. So it might be up to Gio to be the stopper tomorrow. Takes on Nathan Eovaldi. That's extra. Johnny and Ray at 12:30. First pitch, 1:05.
Ruben Tejada just struck out against Chris Heston, and the Giants have thrown another no-hitter. That's the 5th no-hitter the Giants have thrown since '09. Tim Lincecum had a couple. Sanchez won. Matt Cain, of course, had that perfect game. What else can those guys do? Come on.
It's impressive.
Bryce Harper to left center, ball tailing back to the left fielder, and muffed at the very end. Harper going into second, playing hard, running hard, and he's in there on a ball that Ramon Flores wasn't able to close out.
Danny Espinosa's thinking, you caught mine and you didn't catch that one? That was in the air for a while. Flores had to come a long ways, and Bryce Harper looks like he has a one-out double here in the top of the ninth, kind of looking to see if he caught it, and then turned on the Jets at the very end.
Zimmerman, and that is at the knees. So they put hit number 6 on the board. Bryce is 2 for 4. Another extra base hit, by the way. 34 on the year.
Average up to 330. Started at 326 tonight. 330. 20 and 47.
Ryan Zimmerman, deep right field, and foul, and not by as much as you thought it would be when it left the bat. Cozy down there at 314.
He's going to get hot. He's going to lock in. It's just a matter of time.
Goes to, and it fades outside.
As tough as this one was to watch tonight with what happened there late, I was talking to Randy Knorr about this today, and this is a very strong take. I told him I don't care what's going on right now. I care about how this ball club is playing in September into October. We got so excited about 98 wins and 96 wins the last couple of years, and where did that get this ball club? And you look at the two teams in the World Series last year, 87 and 88 wins. It's how you're playing late that matters, and I know that fans probably don't want to hear that right now.
And Shreve makes a good play. Ryan Zimmerman out, 2 down.
But it's the truth. If you look at the big picture, what did 98 wins get and what did 96 wins get? It's how you're playing in August. It's how you're playing down the stretch in September. And it's just getting there, playing well, and continuing that. And obviously you can't get too far behind to where you're not in any kind of race. But in this division, the NL East, that's not going to happen. But get healthy, play well at the end. And to me, all of this right now, yeah, it's the only game today, so it matters. And it matters to Max Scherzer, who just went and busted his tail out there for 7 innings. And it matters to those guys in the dugout that they lost tonight or are going to lose tonight. But if you look at the big picture, the only thing that matters is September and how you're playing down the stretch and how you're playing going to the playoffs. And this team's going to play in October.
Agreed.
I mean, you don't want to, poo-poo the whole journey because it's fun every night to watch these games and these guys want to win. But what matters is late, not right now with 100+ games left to play. That's why you just can't get so wrapped up in the moment. And sometimes you have to look at the big picture and where this team is going and what it wants to do. And is it pretty right now? No, it's not. But would you rather win 98 games and go home in the first round or win 88 games and have a parade on Pennsylvania Avenue? Just saying.
Clint Robinson, a base hit last time, 1 for 3 tonight. Two balls, one strike.
And trust me, adjustments will be made as seen necessary.
And that is on the outside edge. 2 balls, 2 strikes. And Clint Robinson takes it low. Wilson Ramos on deck. Nats need a bunch of runners here. Down by 5, 1 out to go. Bryce Harper a double with 1 out. He's there with 2 down. And a good battle here by Clint Robinson.
Fighting hard.
The Nats get a base runner. And Clint Robinson on for the 2nd time.
Good at bat.
Will Ramos a chance to make this thing interesting?
Yeah. McCann tried to frame it up to end the game. Good at bat by Clint Robinson. And Joe Girardi going to make a move.
Up by 5. Yeah, it's another lefty. This one is Andrew Miller, their closer. So the tying run not in the on-deck circle, but they bring in the closer anyway. out. Andrew Miller. Ryan Zimmerman got him for that home run in D.C. He's their closer right now.
Yeah, fastball 95, slider 84, two-pitch guy. 26 appearance for Miller. ERA at 1.04, 43 strikeouts, 10 walks. Opponents hitting just .091 against the Yankees left-hander.
Wilson Ramos will face him for the first time. Base hit to right last time, hit the ball hard. Wilson tonight 1 for 3.
Was Andrew Miller ready to pitch in this game is the question.
It's a good question. That curveball stays outside. 2-1.
If I was Joe Girardi, I would pitch Dylan Betances every single day all season.
Well, he had a 2-inning outing against the Nats.
He's that good.
2 weeks ago.
Joking, obviously, he'd probably blow up right around the All-Star break, but that's some of the best stuff I've seen this year out of anybody.
That one comes around and gets the corner. Might have been the back corner.
Big frisbee.
See if Wilson Ramos can salvage a 2 for 4 out of the night. And Ramos will foul another on the pole side this time.
Badland.
Not an easy pitch there. 83. Close enough at the bottom of the zone.
Dying hard.
And a 2-2 and the same result.
I wonder if Brian McCann's saying, let's throw a ball here and see if he'll chase it and then get back in the strike zone 3-2. If he doesn't.
Wilson Ramos to short on a hop, knocked down. Gregorius, and time to throw him out at first. At the stroke of 10 o'clock, the Nats now have lost 9 of their last 11 ball games. It has been a rough ride, starting with the homestand, of course, Cincinnati, the weekend before that. So as the train rolls by Yankee Stadium, New York has won 6 in a row.